We're talking about the new CyberCourse feedback system. Remember that students are doing many exercises and getting formative feedback for each one. That requires manual grading of thousands of exercise submissions per semester. The key to this is the active rubric item. Each exercise has anywhere from 3 to a dozen or more rubric items. Each rubric item is one criterion against which to judge the student's work. Here's one rubric item, code indentation. It would apply to just about every exercise in a programming course. Here are some notes on what the rubric item is assessing. This screen is used by exercise authors when they're writing exercises for students to work on. Authors write canned responses graders can use when assessing students' work on the rubric item. The responses can be anything, like you got it right responses, or you missed it entirely responses, or more specific responses. Responses can include links to web pages, giving students suggestions on how to improve. Authors can change the order of responses. They can put responses they think graders will use often at the top of the list and less common responses at the bottom. This makes grading slightly faster. That matters when you're grading thousands of submissions. There are some options that authors can set. For example, most students get code indentation right after the first few exercises. From then on, they'll usually get an everything's okay response like this one. That will be the only response graders will give them on code indentation on their submission. We can use this fact to make grading a little faster. We can tell the grading software that this response usually completes the item. During grading, if a grader chooses this response, the software will collapse the rubric item, hiding the other responses. The grader can quickly move on to the next item. Graders can choose more responses for this item. They can choose as many as they want, but in practice, graders who choose the good code indentation response probably won't add any others for this rubric item. The good code indentation option applies to every exercise where indentation is an issue, but some responses only apply to specific exercises. For example, remember to indent code blocks inside loops, this one here, only applies to exercises that have loops, which not all do. Authors can choose which exercises this option applies to. The feedback interface will only show the option for those exercises. This reduces graders' cognitive load a tiny bit, and every bit helps. To summarize, students need to do many exercises in skills courses. They need to get formative feedback that only people can provide. That means grading thousands of exercise submissions per class. Authors help graders by creating active rubric items for each exercise. This is one rubric item reused across many different exercises. Authors set options so that grading can be as fast as possible.